Hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation. We chose issue number 5, American Art History Book Collection. So I'll first explain the problem that we're having. We are an old community college that has a rare American art history book collection from the late 1800s. Due to past poor storage conditions and age, the material is suffering from brittle book disease and beginning to be too fragile to handle. Our institution has always had the mindset to let patrons handle whatever they request. As we see little corners of the book starting to flake off each time, we would like to talk about the possibility of digitizing the collection or parts of it. Our first and main goal is to digitize our rare American art history book collection from the 1800s because they're starting to decay and fall apart. So we need to preserve the books by digitizing the images within them. Next, we want to hire more staff to scan these images from the books and to create a small catalog. We would also like to use low-cost alternatives to stay within a reasonable budget. We plan on digitizing the books in-house using existing high-quality scanners that the college already owns in order to cut down on these costs. Once images are scanned, we would like to create a repository and provide access to these images through a catalog. We'd also like to create metadata for each image in order to make them easier to find using keywords. And we would like to allow certain images to be downloaded if within appropriate copyright bounds. And we'd also like to collaborate with other institutions like museums, archives, and libraries to include our catalog within theirs. Next, we would like to create a marketing campaign using social media in order to engage people and reach different audiences and encourage them to interact with us through social media and with the digital collection. We'd also like to encourage staff to reach out to local history groups and let them know that we have this new digitized collection. And we also want to encourage wider usage of the collection and broaden our audience to other people that are outside of the academic field. For example, maybe artists, curators, filmmakers would find our digital collection useful.
Analysis of our records indicates that the collection is primarily accessed by art history faculty. The other primary user groups are currently faculty from other departments, academics from outside the college, and students. The increased access afforded by digitization should allow us to expand our audience beyond the current user base of the collection and attract more users from outside the college community. Art archives have reported increasing variety in the types of users they see in recent years, including artists, conservators, curators, filmmakers, archaeologists, and architects. Our collection holds potential interest for many such groups. Information about past techniques for conservators, background and history for curators, inspiration for artists, and more.
Because we hope digitization will ultimately increase use of the collection, it was important that project design reflect user needs. To better assess these, we conducted an email survey of everyone who had accessed the collection during the past 5 years, as well as of faculty and students from the art history department. 56 people participated, providing responses about patron expectations and potential use. These responses were then compared to larger scale surveys of user requirements for digital humanities collections. The themes that emerged were that users required high-quality images, full browse and search functionality, download and reusability, and open source or clear permissions. Image and search quality will be addressed through careful training of all staff responsible for scanning and metadata creation. Because of the express need for downloadability, reuse, and clear permissions, we will not only provide downloads whenever possible, but will prominently display materials' copyright status and link to the library's Copyright Frequently Asked Questions page to provide additional clarity about fair use and related issues.
For a project to be successful, a timeline needs to be defined. An outline has been included to break down the timeline. Some of these steps may occur in different order or may occur at the same time. The three main phases are planning, digitizing, and maintenance. A time frame has been included for planning and digitizing. Maintenance is to be an ongoing process even when digitization is complete. With time, steps might be added or changed as we learn what works and what does not. The first phase should be completed within a year because it sets the foundation for this project. Without it, the rest cannot be done properly. Some of the main steps in this phase are addressed in this presentation. The second phase should be done within the first 2 years. All steps are key components and are essential for the actual digitization. For example, the selection process will identify and prioritize books that are in fragile state and that should be digitized and removed from daily use as soon as possible, as well as books that are in higher demand. Setting best practices for metadata and digitization will hopefully ease the process itself and make it easier to train all staff involved under the same directions. The third phase, it's important to periodically reevaluate the process and see if any issues need to be addressed based off staff and user feedback. Also, a preservation plan needs to be implemented for the digital and physical collection. Generating user interest is included under maintenance because it should be an ongoing effort to facilitate the transition from physical to digital. I only mentioned some steps because if we're being honest, each and every one step that's included in these phases could be broken down even further, but this is just a general overview.
In addition to marketing, our total capital budget will need to account for the projected costs of the digitization process itself. As Katie mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we will be completing the digitization in-house. Fortunately, we have existing scanning equipment and software in place, so the bulk of our budget projections is thus comprised of salaries for the staff members carrying out the project. We are proposing to engage 2 digitization assistants at $15 an hour to work 15 hours a week each, for a total of 30 working hours a week devoted to the project. The collection itself comprises 106 books with a rough total of 96,000 pages to be scanned. Due to the extreme fragility of the material and the care with which it must be handled, scanning rates will be slow. We anticipate a throughput of 50 pages an hour. Allowing for 20 out of 30 weeks an hour to be devoted to scanning, staff will need 96 weeks to scan the entire collection. The remaining 10 working hours a week will be devoted to tasks such as creating metadata, checking quality, and uploading images to the catalog. Staff will also require several hours of training to ensure the safety of the books during the scanning process and to establish best practices in metadata creation. Given these training hours, as well as the projected scanning rates and wages, staff salaries would amount to just over $43,000 for hours spent scanning books and uploading images and metadata to the digital catalog. So our total budget, including staff salaries and marketing, amounts to $43,725.
Marketing for the newly digitized collection will be relatively low cost because we will utilize the archive's existing Facebook account to create interactive posts linking to the new collection for the entire first month that the collection is introduced. In total, there will be 15 Facebook posts generated that are to be uploaded every other day for the first month that the collection has been introduced. Each post on the Facebook page will include an interactive caption with either a question or challenge involving the collection, a link to the collection, and a photograph of a piece of the collection. This content will be generated and monitored by our archives assistant for the first full month that the collection is introduced, and any leftover interaction with these specific posts will be monitored by the staff member that usually monitors the Facebook account. The archives assistant will also share each Facebook post to various local history and special interest Facebook groups and pages in order to generate more interest in the collection and spread the word to potential users of the collection. Because we are utilizing the archive's existing Facebook account, we will only need to account for developing content of the Facebook posts, uploading content, and monitoring and interacting with the posts within our budget. Our archives assistant, who is paid $20 an hour, will be responsible for the marketing. Because of this, marketing comes to a total one-time cost of $375 for 1 month of marketing. As you can see, this is broken down above, with developing content costing $150, uploading content costing $75, and monitoring and interacting with posts costing $150. Thank you for listening to our outreach plan for issue number 5, American Art History Book Collection. Feel free to browse through these resources that were referenced in the presentation.